In Service 365, you can make checklists that need to be filled out on jobs and by employees when they log in. So to make a checklist, we go into Admin and Checklist. And you can see I set up a couple of basic checklists here already. One for a ladder inspection and a vehicle inspection checklist. So to make a new one, we go Add, and then we give it a name. So we'll just call it Demo, because we're not really going to make one here because we already have a couple that we can use. But just to show you how you do make one, we can put in report recipient. So I can select employees that need to see a copy of this completed checklist every time it's filled out. So the way I've set this up here, Dan and Amy will receive an automated email each time an employee finishes filling out the checklist. Now that's not a mandatory field, so if that's not a requirement, you can just leave it blank. So if we go add question, and then we type in our question. So for example, with a vehicle checklist, we might have something like, are the tires in safe condition? And then let's see what kind of answer types we can have. So a little bit like the attributes, the custom fields that we have, there's a whole bunch of different types of ways that we can force them to answer this question. So we could go with text and just say, you can type in free text, whatever you like, but probably we want to steer them, into giving us the best possible answer and standardize the answer. So we're probably going to want a single select. So that's a drop-down box where they can only select one option from the list. So we'll say yes and no are the only options for that, and then we'll say add question. So that question's now in the checklist, and then we can go on and put the next one. And then maybe we want to say, if they selected no, we might need some more detail on that. So we say, if you answered no above, please provide more detail. And then this one we will have as just a simple text box, because we obviously want them to add in some notes and provide more detail. So we'll go add another question there. And just to show you as well what, the number of different types of answers that you can force them to give. So a single select, as we just added, is a drop-down box where they can only pick one option. A multi-select is a drop-down box where they can pick multiple options. So if you want that option, and a checkbox will do the same thing there. So there's unlimited number of questions you can add and multiple different types of answers that you can force them to provide. So I'm going to go ahead and close this without saving it, because I already have a couple of checklists that exist here that we can use for this demo. So to recap, we went to admin down here in the bottom left, and then checklist, and this is where we add, where we create the checklists. And then once we've created them, if I go back to the home page, and I go to the checklist tile, this is the central hub where I can manage them, assign them, see who's filled them out, and see how complete they are. So for example here, I assigned the vehicle checklist to Amy to fill out, so she has to fill that out when she logs into the system. And as you can see, she started filling it out at this date and time, and is partway through. She hasn't completed it yet. So this is a central place where I can manage all of that data, and I can also do the assigning here as well. So I can go to Start Checklist, and we'll say the vehicle checklist must be completed on a job, and we can pick job number 36. We can pick multiple jobs, but for now we'll just say job 36, you must fill out this checklist. So we'll go Add. And then if we go into the jobs page, we will search for job number 36. Okay, there it is. So let's see how this looks on the job. So within the job, I have a checklist tab. So we'll click on that. And there is the vehicle checklist. Oh, looks like I already previously put the ladder checklist on this job as well. So this job requires both of those. So if I click on it, and this is where I can start filling it out. So these are the questions that I added to the checklist when I made it. So let's go ahead and fill out the date. So condition of steps: good, loose, cracked, missing. So let's say this ladder's in pretty bad shape. We're going to go loose, cracked, and missing. And then we'll go next. If you answered anything other than good in the previous question, please provide more detail. So this is where we could add that extra detail. So I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to close it down. And as you can see there, it shows that I was only 66.67% of the way through completing the checklist. I can view the answers, and I can also go through my reports. I could go and export that as a PDF as well. So that's how you assign a checklist to a job. And with template jobs, you can pre-assign the checklist. So you can have template jobs where the checklists are already added to the job, and you don't need to go through that assigning process. Now, even if you didn't assign a checklist to a job, you can still fill one out. So if I can just go start checklist, pick the checklist right within the job. So you can pre-assign them, or you can just go in and fill it out anyway. So that's how to create and manage checklists inside of Service 365.